Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we are deep diving into the head of, well, a major filmmaker, actor, and comedian. We're pulling apart this incredibly candid conversation. It really swings wildly, doesn't it? From profound small-town grace to multi-million-dollar movie set mayhem.
That's right. And the source material we've got here, it's just so conversational, funny, and honestly surprisingly revealing about, the human condition. Our mission really is to extract maybe three core things.
Okay.
First, the emotional power of finding your tribe, sometimes in the unlikeliest places. Second, the absolute unpredictable chaos that seems inherent in high-level film production.
Right.
And third, that constant, almost nagging hunger for validation that, let's face it, seems to drive the entire entertainment machine.
And here's the hook, because it really grabbed me. We're starting with this bizarre dichotomy. On one hand, you have the purest form of artistic control.
Stand-up comedy.
Exactly. A stand-up crafting that perfect joke,
Yeah.
getting an immediate, satisfying laugh, instant feedback.
Yeah, pure connection.
But then you contrast that with the utter loss of control needed to make a feature film, where apparently one throw rug and one injured A-list star can derail, 2 years of work?
It's chaos versus creative vision, basically. That's the setup.
So we really need to start with the personal geography, I think, because it feels like it frames everything else that comes up.
Absolutely. One of the first things in the source conversation was that instantaneous connection, almost tribal, you could say. That feeling when meeting someone who shares your roots.
Yeah, that clicks immediately.
And this director, even though his family came from India, he was born and raised in South Carolina, specifically this tiny town, Bennetville.
Bennetville, right?
He even mentioned how rare that Southern accent is in the comedy world, or Hollywood generally, and the instant bond he felt with the interviewer over that shared background.
And that shared ground, it kind of opened the door to this story of human grace, which, it completely subverts what you often hear about the small-town South, right?
It's an incredibly powerful moment in the material. He tells the story of his mother moving straight from India to Bennetville. His dad would go to work.
Leaving her alone.
Totally alone in a completely foreign country. And she admitted, that initially she just sat there and cried, just overwhelmed by the isolation.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
But the community stepped up.
Yeah, with extraordinary kindness. He talks about two specific local women. One was an older white lady they called Nana, and the other a black woman, Miss Beulah, who apparently cooked the world's meanest Southern food, his words.
Okay.
And they became these essential figures for the family, like second mothers really looking out for them.
Wow. And the story goes even deeper, doesn't it? About the connection.
It really does. What's fascinating is how deep that connection went, how it just transcended cultural, racial lines. The director had a younger sister, Nafi,
Right.
who sadly passed away very young from a rare disease, Hurler syndrome. Years later, Nana, this woman who took them in, was buried right next to Nafi in the Bennetville Cemetery.
Wait, really? Right next to her? That detail is just staggering. It speaks volumes about real, profound human connection.
Absolutely. And they were a Muslim family, remember? But the local community, even including a priest, supported them, made sure their Muslim burial traditions were respected right there in that southern cemetery.
That's more than just a nice story, isn't it? It feels like a crucial counter-narrative.
Exactly. It shows this profound human decency that exists, far away from the often transactional nature of Hollywood, which he deals with now.
Maybe that early experience, seeing that kind of grace, maybe it sort of inoculates him against the chaos he faces professionally now.
That's a great point. Perhaps he knows the true value isn't just in the immediate laugh or the big paycheck, because he saw something deeper early on.
Which brings us neatly to that professional chaos. Let's dive into that creative duality. Stand up on one side, pure and direct, and then the logistical nightmare of filmmaking on the other.
Yeah, the director describes stand-up as like the ultimate pure art form. It's entirely in your control. You think of a joke tonight.
Test it tonight.
Test it tonight. Get that immediate feedback, that instant gratification, or instant rejection, but it's immediate.
Right, but filmmaking,
Yeah.
that analogy he used was perfect.
The mountain he climbed?
Yeah, asking hundreds of people for money and supplies to climb this mountain, the script. And then the second you start climbing, people just start throwing boulders at you.
And oh boy, did the boulders come flying on his new film, Good Fortune. The sources lay it all out. First, a 7-month halt. Just stopped.
The writer's strike.
Yep. That alone is a massive disruption. Momentum, budget, everything just pauses.
Okay, but here's where it gets almost comical if it weren't so serious for the production. They finally get back after 7 months.
Right, relief, let's get going.
And on day 2 or 3 back, Keanu Reeves, the guy who survives like everything in the John Wick movies without a scratch,
Uh-huh.
slips on a rug after doing a cold plunge scene and breaks his kneecap.
You can't make this stuff up. The irony is just, oh, wow. So now they've got their star injured.
So what did they do?
Well, they had to use complex VFX editing, basically digitally removing the knee brace from Keanu in numerous scenes. Imagine the work involved.
And time and money.
Exactly. And they had to postpone this crucial cumbia dancing sequence. Plus, it wasn't just internal stuff. External chaos piled on, too. They were dealing with insane winds.
Like how windy?
45 miles per hour winds. And even nearby fires, messing with things.
So nature itself was throwing boulders.
Pretty much, which forced these crazy last-minute rewrites. He actually mentioned having to throw in lines about kites.
Kites.
Yeah, just to try and justify the ridiculous wind conditions they were actually filming in. You're literally fighting reality, trying to make the thing.
Which leads to this financial paradox you talked about. That needs a closer look.
Definitely. He flat out says films are so expensive to do, and often you end up losing money compared to just touring with stand-up.
Which is relatively simple profit, right?
Yeah.
Show up, tell jokes, get paid.
Well, way more straightforward.
So why do it? If stand-up is pure control, immediate reward, pretty good money, why subject yourself to the strikes, the injuries, the wind, the budget bleeding out? Why climb that film mountain?
I think it speaks to something beyond just commerce, doesn't it? It has to be about legacy, maybe prestige.
How so?
Well, stand-up is amazing, but it's ephemeral. It lives in that moment, in that room. Filmmaking, even with all its insanity, it creates something permanent, a record of a specific complex vision.
Ah, okay. Something that lasts beyond the night.
Exactly. Something you just can't achieve in a 2-hour set, no matter how good it is. So maybe the potential financial loss is just an acceptable cost for fulfilling that grander, more permanent artistic impulse.
That makes sense. And this theme of control, or rather the lack of it, it really hit home hard on his previous project too, right? Being Mortal.
Oh, yeah. Based on Atul Gawande's really important book about end-of-life care.
Essential reading.
Yeah.
And the cast was incredible.
Phenomenal. Bill Murray, Seth Rogen playing his son, Keke Palmer. I mean, wow. Oh.
But the whole production just stopped. Completely shut down. Why?
It came down to an incident on set. Bill Murray was apparently inappropriate with a woman working there. The reports say he was trying to be funny, attempting a joke where he kissed her, but they were both wearing COVID masks.
Okay.
But she was upset by it, understandably. And that led the studio to halt everything for a full investigation.
Staggering. That's hundreds of jobs, millions of dollars all gone because of one, like, deeply misguided attempt at humor on set.
It instantly defines the difference, doesn't it, between the controlled stage, where an audience sort of accepts a comedian's intent within boundaries,
Right. There's an agreement there.
and a massive professional film set, where personal boundaries, HR, legal liability, they're absolutely paramount. The film set is just utterly unforgiving of those kinds of mistakes. Zero tolerance.
That failure of control in the big transactional world, it kind of forces us to look at the search for control in the personal world.
Yeah.
That constant hunt for validation.
Exactly, because for a comedian, validation, it starts really early. It comes through these comedy gatekeepers. They literally hold the keys to your self-esteem, your future work, everything.
You talked about the dream, right?
Yeah.
Getting past at those foundational New York clubs.
Yeah, the proving grounds. He mentions specific names, too. Lucian Hold at the comic strip, Manny Dorman at the Comedy Cellar. These guys were legends, the ones who decided who got stage time and who just faded away.
And he shared some really specific moments, like when he was just 18, auditioning for Lucian Hole.
Right, who was apparently brutal but honest. Told him he didn't know if a huge career was in the cards for him, but crucially said, you could start working. Gave him that first step.
But later, Lucian offers something even more profound, didn't he?
Yeah, years later, just looked at him and said, you're going to be okay. Simple, but huge. And then Manny Dorman saw his third ever stand-up set and instantly told him he was ready for the big room.
Wow, third set, that kind of early, powerful validation. It must be like a drug.
Totally. And maybe that leads directly to the need for distance later on, once fame hits. He mentioned that once you're famous, if you just drop into a comedy club, everyone goes nuts.
The reaction isn't pure anymore.
Exactly. The laughter gets sweetened up, as he put it. It feels unfair. It feeds the ego, sure, but it doesn't actually help you hone the art, test the material honestly.
So how does he manage that?
Aha!
The ego, the potential burnout from constant attention?
His strategy seems to be total escape, just getting away. He talked about going places like Japan for months at a time.
Why Japan specifically?
Maybe just somewhere the adoration, the demands, the noise of the industry, it all just disappears. You can just be a person again, not a famous comedian. Reset.
Which is where somehow we take a sharp turn into livestock, miniature donkeys.
Yeah, it's a funny, unexpected detour in the source material, but he connects this constant need for applause, this validation seeking, to his wife's very specific love for miniature donkeys.
Okay, that is specific. Tell me more.
Apparently, his wife just loves donkeys. Her first word was actually the Danish word for donkey.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they sought out and got these miniature donkeys named Roger and Lily when they were in Nashville.
Miniature donkeys. I didn't even know that was a thing beyond maybe petting zoos. Are there other mini animals?
Oh, yeah, the conversation touches on it. Mini horses, like Tom Thumb, apparently can't be taller than 34 inches. Mini cows, pygmy goats, even micro pigs. It's a whole tiny world out there.
A whole world of tiny validation seekers. How does he connect it back?
Well, the ultimate insight comes from this analogy he makes, tying the tiny animal back to the comedy stage. He describes comedians sort of self-deprecatingly as Satan's mini donkeys.
Satan's mini donkeys.
Or maybe mini donkeys of self-esteem, suggesting that comedians constantly need that approval, that laughter from the audience,
the applause.
to grow into a regularized horse. It's a funny way of saying that even with fame, the comedian remains this fundamentally small creature with this massive, constant need for external approval.
So that need to be told you're ready for the big room, it never really goes away. Even when you're directing huge stars like Bill Murray or Keanu Reeves, you're still that mini donkey needing a pat on the head.
Seems like it. The scale changes, but maybe the fundamental need doesn't.
So, okay, if we pull back from the mini donkeys and the broken kneecaps and the strikes, what's the core learning here? What do we extract for you, the listener?
Well, we've definitely seen that the art of stand-up, while pure and controlled, maybe offers only temporary self-esteem boosts. That immediate laugh feels great, but fades.
Right, and the art of filmmaking. It's just this brutal test of resilience against constant, unforgiving chaos.
But maybe the ultimate value, the thing that really grounds you through both the fleeting highs of stand-up and the grinding lows of filmmaking, is measured against personal connections. Real human bonds.
Like the Bennetville story.
Exactly, and he recalled this specific moment of validation that really hit him because it was so unbiased, so genuine. It completely transcended the industry noise.
What was it?
A London cab driver. Didn't know who he was, had no agenda, just listened to him talk, and finally said something like, "You're a really good storyteller."
Wow. Just simple human feedback.
And that external, unexpected approval apparently meant more than any industry award or glowing review could.
And that search for profound validation, for that sense of true worth, it always seems to circle back to that non-transactional kindness, right? Like what he saw in Bennetville.
Yeah. He was really honest about how much it meant that Lucian Hold believed in him early on. That you're going to be okay, validation.
But there was sorrow there, too.
Deep sorrow. He shared how much it pains him that his sister, Nafi, the one who passed away so young, she didn't get to see how far his career actually went. She only knew him before all this.
And that really crystallizes the final tension, doesn't it? If the approval of strangers like the audience or even that cab driver only provides this temporary self-esteem, how do you cultivate that lasting self-worth? The kind that exists even when the people who truly believed in you from the start, like Lucian Hold, who gave you that first chance, or even more profoundly, like Nafi, who just knew you as family, aren't here anymore to witness the outcome.
That's the question, isn't it? That's the deeper journey, maybe the real mountain climb we're all on, whether we're standing on a stage telling jokes or fighting fires on a movie set or just living our lives, finding that internal validation.